All right, so I'm here with Caleb and Joseph, the farmers at Valley Spirit, and we're in one of your houses. So thanks for being on my channel, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit more about yourselves. How did each of you guys get into farming? How long have you been doing it? How long have you been on this property?
Well, we met each other in college, and I guess we should point out that Joseph's wife, Abby, farms with us as well, full-time, so she's out and about today. But yeah, we all met in central Indiana in college, and both grew up on family farms in the northern and southern parts of Indiana. So that shared experience, I think, kind of made us friends in college and our mutual interest in market gardening. So yeah, I've been farming post-college full-time for about 7 years now, and then grew up on a farm. And we've been here together for 5.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're 5 years in on this property.
Yeah, 5 years in.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you're doing market gardening and some animals as well, and what else?
Yeah, our 4 primary enterprises are the market garden, pastured pork, grass-fed beef, and then we just started doing mushroom cultivation, primarily oyster mushrooms
That's
this
really
year.
cool. I know I saw on your Instagram you had some beautiful pictures of your mushrooms. I'm excited to see that. I've never been to a mushroom grow operation, so
Absolutely,
excited.
man. Yeah, we'll be excited to show it to you.
This part of the garden is like a process to explain how it came into production.
Oh yeah, this little finger over here.
I mean, we fenced it out. We never thought we'd have a garden over here.
Yeah.
But we had the cows here, the pigs here, and then they just kind of left it like ready to plant.
Dang, man, this looks healthy. I don't see any pest damage at all.
It's crazy because I've had some really measly broccoli crops
Oh, yeah?
and cabbage crops.
Just like
they just don't get big and vibrant, you know, not reaching their full potential. And then these just did because of the mixture of a couple seasons of cover crops and having animals in there. We actually hogged down a rye crop.
Yeah.
With the pigs. The pigs ate the rye.
And they were probably in there for 3.5 months over the winter, and then opened it up to the cattle, and they kind of grazed it down. And then, what was the tillage process?
I chiseled it and dissed it. I chisel plowed it and dissed it, and we went straight in by hand. We planted all this by hand, and in between every row, there's a row of carrots snuck in there.
Really? Oh, cool.
So it's kale, carrot, kale, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then even where you see hay right there, that's where we had all those watermelon radishes. So after we pulled all the watermelon radishes we pulled all the watermelon radishes out. I broadcast a cover crop. I rolled a bale of hay out, and I moved the line back and let the cows trample in and mix in the hay.
Nice. I love how you're using the animals in combination. And,
just having cover crops plus animals has been the best.
Huge.
Like we put $4,000 worth of compost in this garden. Nothing compared to what animals and cover crops did here.
What breed are you guys raising? And tell me more about how you're grazing these. What's your style?
These are Angus. We have a little bit of shorthorn in there. They're kind of, a lot of them are genetically from the Y Angus group in Maryland, which was like a close herd since the early 1900s.
Dad.
So they've been line bred, and they're a shorter, moderate frame cow for grass finishing. So these are
100% grass?
Yep. And we move them usually daily to 3 days, every 1 to 3 days. But right now we just got out of a drought, and I'm waiting for the grass to grow back for maybe another week. So I have them locked down. I'm feeding hay like it's winter, and also most of our grass is fescue, and we're about to get a frost, a couple hard freezes, and that'll sweeten the fescue up and make them eat it better, and also get rid of the end-of-fight toxicity that it has. And so it'll really make all the rest of the pastures more palatable and safer for them if I wait a little bit longer. So right now they're in a sacrifice paddock that we're using. I'm rolling out bales of hay for them to make garden space eventually on where I'm feeding the hay.
Okay. So then you run these cows through, they drop their manure. Then Caleb, you're saying after that you're gonna run some pigs through here as well?
That's right. Yeah, just where we've been keeping them temporarily while the drought's been happening. Once these are moved out of here, we'll set up a paddock for the pigs to come in and root up where a future garden will be, and that'll kind of help expose soil and break up grass clumps for a cover crop in the spring. And
Then the cover crop. Then how are you gonna get rid of the cover crop before you
Graze it.
graze it? Graze it down.
Bring the cattle in again.
Then do you tarp it, or then what?
Then we'll probably put the pigs back in one more time.
Oh wow!
Just kind of repeat
clean
the
up.
process a few times.
Clean up one more time. Get
And
the
then-
clumps out,
And then we'll get the tractor and chisel and disc it, and like we did,
and then plant in.
and plant it.
Wow! So you're dropping tons of natural fertility in there
Yeah,
before.
over the
Yeah.
course of 2 years, and that's how we're breaking ground.
That's so
Not to
cool.
mention the
Long-
biomass from the hay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
biomass
putting
from
down. And then so you're not having to bring in a bunch of compost. That's what you're telling me.
We have, because I've been wanting to do that very intensive style of gardening, but I'm just kind of figuring that the extensive way is probably more of our approach here in this rural area, where we have all the land we could possibly want for growing vegetables, so we don't have to like get a ton out of a small space, even though that makes a lot of sense for certain crops, and we'll continue to do that in high tunnels and stuff like that with lettuce. But we're just going to start using our land base and time to make spaces and just do things more extensively.
The
Like
context is much different for you guys because you got
Yeah.
so many acres to work with, and
Yeah, and we just
Right.
kind of realized that.
yeah.
Yeah, we were just really geeking out on that intensive
Yeah.
high rotation style,
Yeah.
which was great because I think it taught us a lot of things. But in this context, we've been learning how to find a balance
Yeah.
and use
And how
that.
to use the animals. That's
and
what
how to
makes
use
it
animals.
exciting.
Yeah, the animals.
To mix your crops and animals together is really fun. It's exciting to think about how to make that work.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. And yeah, you guys are going to have a lot to teach people too, I think, by going through all these years of doing it all these different ways. And
And we're kind of
Come with a
leaning
good
on
system.
people like Anna and Eric Nordell and their cover crop system, and then incorporating the animals into it. It seems to like really jumpstart the process to have the animals graze
yeah,
the cover crop, like they digest it and make it better by pooping it out, going through
yeah,
their
One
fourth chamber stomach.
kind of part of that cycle that we're both really excited about is integrating the mushroom compost into the system.
oh man,
That fungal element was never quite there, and now we sort of have
Yeah.
the last part of the ecological cycle, and we'll be incorporating a lot of the mushroom block compost into the garden.
that
that's
is
true.
cool. That, we're talking real synergy now.
Yeah, that's right.
Just like all of them, all of them working together
Yeah,
to feed the other.
The farm has gotten a little bigger. We've each sort of settled into various enterprises,
Nice.
just based off of our experience and what we like to do. And
so
Yeah.
so what's your main role here at the farm?
I'm primarily plugged into the mushrooms, the pigs, and then administrative stuff. So I'm doing the bookkeeping and things like that on the back end.
Yeah, something I thought was so cool about your guys' story is just how you're working together,
Yeah.
and each person's doing their own task, and it just makes it so much easier to run the farm. You guys can take vacations, and
Yeah.
one person can run the farm and take care of the animals.
Absolutely.
How's that experience been for you, working with your friend?
It's been great. Yeah. I mean, we've definitely been learning along the way. It doesn't come without challenges or fights or bad weeks, but,
Yeah.
it makes it a lot more valuable, I think, resilient. Like you said, we can have a better quality and balance to our lives, getting away for a weekend, visiting family. My family is about 4 hours away, so being able to go up there for a weekend carefree is invaluable for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it, man. It's such a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
I'd like to see more of that. It's
I know,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like there needs to be more like shared land ownership, collaborative farming. I think there's a lot to be done there. Yeah.
yeah, because like you said, it would just really improve the lifestyle. So when it's
Yeah.
all on you, all on your family, and
Absolutely.
maybe your team,
Right.
it can get overwhelming at times.
Yeah, absolutely. And just having someone to, joke around with and work with throughout the day, and
Yeah.
better yet, your friends. Like
Yeah.
that's great.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's been a good ride.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. You guys seem like a great team.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And all right, so let's check out these pigs here.
For sure.
So what's going on? This is their big paddock you got them in, and
That's right.
What are
Yeah,
they?
we're kind of free ranging and a good first half of our paddocks here, we have permanently fenced paddocks that we sort of move them down along a tree line. The reason I have them free ranging in here is we're getting some rain at the end of the week, and I'm throwing some cover crop seed out and letting them work it in a little bit. And then we'll be moving them further back to the back of the garden to break some new ground for next season.
So the animals, they help get the seed in the ground. They
Yeah,
help kind of plant it
absolutely.
for you.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, and sometimes some of the larger seed, like the field peas, I'll see them try to pick it out and swallow it, but usually it just comes right back out the other end with a little fertility wrapped around it, and it's good to go. So,
No way.
yeah.
How do you spread the cover crop when you're doing it? To
We
start
just
it?
have a little hand broadcast seeder that we just
walk
walk
it
the pasture and focus on the pigs are really rough on the edges, and you can see like where I had a cross fence earlier this year, they were rough on that. So sometimes I'll even get in here with a disc and run over it, but if you time it right with the rain, you can usually get the seed worked in and established pretty well.
That's really neat.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So how long? So they help work in that cover crop, and then how long? Because when the cover crop starts coming up, they're gonna mess it up. So then you get them out of there, or what do you?
That's exactly right. Yeah, usually I'll seed it and let them work it for about 2 days right before a rain. The rain will hit, and for example, later this afternoon, I'm moving all these pigs to the back. So they've been on it for a couple of days after I broadcasted, and then I'll move them out. It'll get rained on, and that'll be about enough to get it going.
Nice.
And it's oats, cereal rye, field peas, and then I'll frost seed some clover in here in late February.
So then for harvesting and stuff, how many pigs are you guys usually harvesting?
Yeah,
year?
we're usually finishing out like spring and fall groups with maybe a small midsummer group to restock certain cuts, but we're doing between 40 to 50 finished pigs a year. And we have primarily just been buying in weaned pigs and accidentally farrowing a couple of times, but we'll be intentionally farrowing this spring. We just bought 7 breeding gilts that are going to be kind of the foundation of our breeding stock for the hogs.
Wow. So now you're going to get into breeding next.
We are, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's we're not planning to do it in a big way, but we have a good little network of pork producers that there just isn't a lot of people providing weaned pigs, so we figured it was a little niche we could fill. And
Beautiful.
yeah, I grew up on a hog farm, so I'm really comfortable with pigs. I really like being around them. And I think that really makes a difference and helps jumping into farrowing and things like that. So yeah,
Very
we'll
cool.
overwinter this group of about 30 pigs and be finishing out a good chunk of them in late February, early March.
Wow. And what breed are these?
So I've got a few different breeds in here. There's some Berkshire crossed with Hamp, and then my new breeding stock is a 4-way cross. It's Swabian Hall, which is Mason and Wild Russian Boar, 2-way cross there, crossed with Red Wattle and Old Line Hampshire. So that's the 4 breeds in the new gilts.
So cool. What kind of what's the meat difference like between those different breeds? Is there a big difference, or what
Yeah.
it tastes like?
The 4-way cross, the real intention there was to try to get like 3 more lean breeds crossed with a lard breed, and that helps get some of that forage efficiency and litter size vigor from the lard breed, but also the frame size and the finishing efficiency from the lean breeds. So lard breeds give us litter size and marbling, and lean breeds give us finishing, quick time, and efficiency.
Okay. Wow, that's so interesting, man. So yeah, there's all these different aspects about the animal that you're kind of forming, and the flavor, the fat content, how they're actually eating on the land.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, and we really try to get the pigs in the woods is our big goal. We'd like to be able to get them in some of the fingers of woods around the farm a little more effectively, and they are fed a full finish ration of corn, sunflower meal, field peas. What else is in there? Redmond salt and mineral, and I forget the last ingredient, barley. So that's their ration right now, and then they get some spent grain from an organic baker in Louisville that we work with a little bit.
Perfect.
And then graze for the rest.
Nice. Well, they're great looking animals.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, I hope I get to try some of your meat someday.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to send you off with some.
Okay.
Cook up some pork chops.
Sounds awesome. Love it. What kind of mushroom is that?
So this is a pink sakura oyster. I source grain spawn from North Spore out of Maine. They're a spawn supplier where I get my seed from, and the part of the growing process that we do is we just make the bags, seed the bags, and fruit the blocks, but we don't grow our own grain spawn. That's sort of something we do on the side.
You need like a lab or something to do that, right?
That's right, yeah. And you'll see my rudimentary lab off the back of my house that is definitely good for just sort of experimenting, but as far as commercial production, you really need a really sanitizable space to make it consistent and good. So
very cool. And where are you selling all this stuff?
So this is pretty much farmers markets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're doing about 30 to 40 pounds a week of mushrooms, oyster mushrooms. Yeah, this year was kind of about just proving the market and seeing if the demand was there.
Yeah.
And,
is it there?
It's there.
People like it?
People really want oyster mushrooms, yeah. They're so visually striking, and I think the research is catching up to the culture of people realizing how important they are as a part of your diet.
Yeah.
So yeah, we focus on oysters. We don't grow any shiitakes. Not that we don't like shiitakes. There's just a lot of people doing that in our area, and they take a lot longer to finish out. So we focus on those tighter, rotating mushroom types.
What's your substrate that you grow everything in?
Yeah, so we're doing bags with 50% hardwood sawdust and then 50% hemp hulls.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
there's a lot of hemp growing going on in the South now.
A lot of hemp.
So
yeah,
that's obviously a great material.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's an industrial hemp processor who we know just about 10 minutes north of us, and he has a lot of byproduct that he's just trying to get out of his floor. So we go pick up these 1-ton super sacks of hemp hulls and just use that as our growing substrate.
That's so cool.
And a lot of people will use soybean hulls, so it's a pretty similar in type to hemp hulls.
What you're doing sounds a little healthier though. No GMO things touching anything.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the soybean hull, so I was glad to find an alternative for sure.
So cool.
Yeah, so we fruit specifically in the heat of the summer in this insulated space, and then in the shoulder seasons, as things cool down, there's a shaded greenhouse off of my back porch that we'll fruit out of as well.
All right, you guys, thanks so much for having me out to your farm. I just had an incredible time. I learned so many new, interesting things about raising animals and mushrooms, and I hope that you guys did too.